You've been taught to look outward for power. In the flicker of a lover's gaze, in the soft pull of companionship, in the approval or rejection of another's voice. But Thoth taught that everything begins within, that all which seems to happen to you first blooms in thought through you. The first law, the law of mentalism, is not metaphor nor abstraction. It is the hidden truth you've always carried. All is mind. The universe is mental, and so relationships, these aching, luminous, trembling threads of connection, are not exceptions to the law. They are the most intimate expressions of it. You may believe that love arrives from the outside. That harmony is found when two people click, or that conflict is born from someone else's misstep. But look closer. Beneath every exchange is a thought, a meaning made, a story woven in silence. Every moment with another is filtered through the theater of your mind. You don't see them as they are, you see them as you are. What you love in another is a reflection of what you have allowed yourself to recognize within. What irritates you is often a veiled invitation, a disowned frequency of your own unhealed song, asking to be acknowledged. The law of mentalism is not a mere cosmic rule. It is the canvas upon which all human relating is painted. The way you think about love, about trust, about worthiness sets the boundaries of what can bloom. Each relationship you've had, whether nurturing or painful, has been a vibrational echo of your dominant mental atmosphere. Like draws, like not just in circumstance, but in perception, in expectation, in unconscious magnetism. So we begin here where all magic begins, in awareness, in the sacred responsibility of becoming conscious of what you think, of how you perceive yourself, and thus how you project that self into the mirror of another. Consider this: a person who fears abandonment will often meet those who seem distant, not because fate is cruel, but because their thought field has attuned them to that dance. A person who carries the thought, "I must earn love," may endlessly attract those who withhold it, because the script of proving one's worth is already written, and the cast has been magnetized accordingly. And yet, none of this is punishment. The universe is not cruel. It is exact. It reflects back to you with divine fidelity, not to harm, but to awaken. You are the dreamer, not the puppet, but the dreamer must wake to remember this. So pause, breathe, gently reflect. What are the core thoughts you hold about love, about others, about yourself when you are seen? What internal dialogue silently writes the script of your days? Begin to notice how your outer relationships rise and fall, according to the quality of your inner mental weather. Begin to trace the origin of conflict, not just to what was said, but to what was first believed. The mind, after all, is the first relationship. Every other connection is a reverberation of it. There is a great power in this realization, a quiet, holy power. For if your thoughts are the architects of reality, then the house of love, the temple of trust, the sanctuary of union, it can all be redesigned. But first, you must stop blaming the mirror and begin transforming the face that looks into it. To walk this path is not to deny emotion. It is to feel it with reverence, then ask what thought beneath this feeling shaped its form. And so we begin at the gateway of the mind, the original womb, the architect's table, where the seeds of relating are sown and where all sacred alchemy begins. Thought is the first brushstroke on the canvas of reality. It is the silent chant beneath your spoken words, the unseen hand that arranges the pieces of your life before they unfold. And in relationships, thought is not only the beginning, it is the ongoing weaver of intimacy and separation, tenderness and tension, harmony and noise. You may think love is a mystery, but love obeys laws. Not laws of control, but laws of rhythm, of resonance. The second you think about someone, truly think with focus and feeling, you have already begun a relationship with them in the subtle realms. The law of mentalism, unfolding now through the lens of creation, reveals that all relationship is first imagined before it is experienced. Imagine your thoughts as seeds. Some are sown in joy. I am safe to love. I am cherished. I trust the divine in you and in me. Others unconsciously in fear they will leave. I am not enough. Love must be earned, and just as a garden grows without shouting, without effort, your relational life begins to blossom around these silent seeds. Each thought attracts its like, draws the water of attention, and takes root in the soil of repetition. You may not remember planting them. You may have inherited some seeds from a mother's sorrow, a father's absence, a culture's confusion. But they are yours now, and what grows from them is no accident. The unexamined thought is the architect of heartbreak, but the conscious thought, lovingly chosen, patiently tended, is the mother of miracles. Pause for a moment and reflect. What thoughts do you frequently think when you are with others? Are they generous or guarded? Do they prepare you for disappointment or open the door to communion? Thought is not something that reacts to life. It creates it. When you approach a loved one thinking, they never understand me, you shape the very field between you. You clothe them in the costume of misunderstanding before they even speak. Your energy tightens, your presence shifts, and so they respond, not to your words, but to the unseen atmosphere your thought has painted around them. Likewise, when you walk into a room thinking I bring peace with me, you become a harmonizer. Not because others change, but because your frequency has shifted the story before it is even told. This is the gentle, radiant responsibility of the awakened soul to choose your thoughts with the same care you would offer to sacred ritual. Because they are sacred ritual, every thought is a prayer, every thought is a spell. If you think of someone with kindness, you've already sent light to them. If you think of someone with judgment, you have tangled their reflection in your own shadow. Neither is wrong, but both are potent. Both are creation. And so when relationships begin to shift, evolve, or unravel, ask first what thoughts preceded this moment. There are no accidents in the architecture of the soul, only forgotten choices. And thought is the blueprint of those choices. This is not a call to perfection, but to presence. Even the thought I am learning to think differently becomes a doorway, a thought of grace, a seed of awakening. For what you think in this moment shapes the next moment, and that moment shapes the tone of your connections. In the quiet spaces between words you are already creating. Try this before your next conversation. Pause and offer a silent intention. not to control, but to harmonize. I choose to see the light in them. I am open to understanding. May this moment bring healing. Then watch, not for instant miracles, but for subtle warmth, shifts in tone, a glance held longer, a softening where there was once tension. These are the flowers of thought blooming in the relational field. You are not helpless in love. You are a gardener of the invisible. With each conscious thought, you water the roots of connection. You invite in the kind of love that does not demand, but resonates. The kind that does not chase, but remembers. So choose wisely, not with fear, but with reverence. For your thoughts are not fleeting, they are formative. They are the architects of intimacy and the quiet weavers of every we you'll ever know. All is vibration, all is motion. There is nothing still beneath the surface of reality, not in the atoms that make your body, not in the pulse of stars, not in the energy that binds two hearts across space. The law of vibration whispers, nothing rests. Everything moves. Everything vibrates. And so too do your relationships. You do not simply connect with another, you attune. You harmonize or you dissonate. The invisible fabric between two beings is a field of frequency, singing with resonance or clashing with static, depending on the music of thought and emotion playing beneath your skin. When you feel drawn to someone, what you truly feel is a match in frequency. Their words may delight you. Their presence may stir desire, but beneath that is something far older and more subtle, a rhythm that meets yours, a wave that echoes your inner current. And when you feel repelled, there too is a mismatch of vibration, a discord between your inner music and theirs. To understand the mystical nature of relationships, we must look not at personality, but at energy. The mind generates thought, but it is the emotion fused with thought that gives it power, motion, frequency. Each feeling is a frequency. Joy is a high vibration. Resentment, a low. Love, the highest. And like tuning forks across space, you draw into your life that which hums in harmony with your dominant emotional state. You are not punished by others. You are tuned to them. This is why you may notice patterns repeating the same kind of argument, the same kind of abandonment, the same silent ache in the chest that whispers not again. But it is again, until the frequency changes. And here lies the grace hidden within this law. You are not fixed. You are not fated. You are frequency. And frequency can be chosen. Begin with awareness. What emotional tone do you most often carry in connection? Is it defensiveness, longing, hopefulness, fear? Do you expect misunderstanding or communion? Do you anticipate betrayal or loyalty? Because whatever frequency you vibrate at, you will invite into the field. Not always immediately. Sometimes the signal returns slowly, masked as coincidence, but it returns, always. Consider a woman who constantly fears being unworthy. She may be kind, generous, full of affection, but if the base frequency of her inner world is lack, she will vibrate into her life those who do not fully see her, not because she deserves less, but because her signal cannot yet sustain being met fully. To change the partner is not enough. The frequency must change, or a man who believes all love will eventually disappear. He may be devoted, attentive, expressive, but his core frequency says this will end, and so it will again and again until the hum of his expectation is rewritten. This does not mean you are to blame for others' actions. No. But it does mean you are the composer of your relational music. Others may add their instruments, but the key, the tempo, the signature of the song, it begins with you. To shift a relationship, shift the tone of your being. Raise your frequency, not by force, but by devotion. Practice gratitude for what is working. Speak words that uplift. Feed your inner world with beauty. Choose thoughts that support a higher vibration. Let go of the low hum of complaint and comparison. These are frequencies that cannot carry the weight of sacred union. Try this before engaging with someone. Breathe and ask yourself, what am I vibrating right now? You will feel the answer, not in the mind, but in the body, in the chest, the gut, the breath. And if the vibration is low, you need not speak yet. Center yourself, elevate, choose again. The great Hermetic truth is that you do not attract what you want. You attract what you are, not as punishment, but as perfect correspondence. And this means your power is immediate. The next time you wish someone would meet you with more presence, ask, have I met myself that way today? The vibration you hold within is the invitation you send outward. When you begin to vibrate from a place of wholeness, love no longer becomes something to find, it becomes something to recognize. Because now, your signal calls to a different song. One that echoes your peace. One that cannot be drowned in drama or dulled by fear. And the field between you and the other, no matter who they are, begins to hum with something ancient, something new. Harmony, a sacred echo, a song only souls can hear. There is a secret door within every relationship, a hidden gate that opens only when you are ready to see yourself not as the victim of love, nor the seeker of it, but as the sacred mirror looking into another mirror. The law of correspondence whispers, as within, so without, as above, so below. And nowhere does this truth shimmer more clearly than in the alchemy of human connection. The beloved is not just a person. The beloved is your reflection, distorted, clarified, or magnified according to the clarity of your inner lens. Every person you have ever loved, hated, or longed for has offered you a map of your own terrain. A mirror held not always kindly, but always accurately. They do not reflect your surface. They reflect your soul's unseen corners. Consider this not with judgment, but with wonder. The one who abandons you may reflect your own abandoned inner child, still unheard. The one who smothers you may mirror your fear of autonomy, of claiming your voice. The one who meets you with grace and steadiness mirrors your growing self-love, your integration, your earned sovereignty. Each encounter is a spell cast back to you. Here is what you are not yet willing to feel. Here is what you are beginning to become. Most run from these mirrors. They blame the other, shatter the glass retreat into the comfort of projection. But the alchemist, the true seeker, leans in. Ask yourself, What is this person showing me about me? Not as blame, as revelation. It takes courage to see clearly, to know that you drew them not at random, but by design, that something within you longed for this exact reflection, not to suffer, but to evolve. The path of spiritual alchemy is not found in perfect harmony, but in sacred friction. The flame needs the resistance of the cauldron. And in the heat of relationship, what is not love will rise to the surface, not to shame you, but to be transmuted. If you are jealous, it is not because the other is wrong. It is because you have forgotten your own abundance. If you are envious, it is not because they shine too brightly. It is because you have dimmed your own light for too long. If you feel unseen, unheard, unloved, ask, where have I abandoned myself? Where have I become invisible to my own eyes? This is not emotional gymnastics. This is soul retrieval. To see yourself clearly is to reclaim the power you've projected onto others. The mirror is not always kind, but it is always sacred. When you accept this truth, your relationships shift from battlefield to temple. Every conflict becomes initiation. Every rupture, a rite of passage. Every embrace, a remembrance. You begin to bless the ones who triggered you, not because they were right, but because they were precise. Souls who signed the silent contract to awaken you to press your hidden wounds until you remembered your healing. There is no coincidence in who arrives. The angry lover, the fleeting friend, the soulmate who stays, and the karmic echo who does not. Each one holds a shard of your reflection. And when you gather them with presence, you rebuild the mirror of your wholeness. Try this when faced with tension or pain. In connection, pause and breathe. Then whisper inwardly, what part of me is being shown here? What truth am I being asked to see? Let the answer come not from analysis, but from the body. A sensation, a memory, a silent knowing. Then honor it, love it, tend to it. You will find the charge begins to soften. The story begins to dissolve. The other is no longer the villain or the savior, they are the messenger. This is the alchemy of reflection, and it leads you back to yourself again and again, until there is no longer a wound asking to be filled by another. Only a self, radiant and whole, ready to meet another whole self. In this sacred mirror space, love becomes not dependency, but devotion, not escape, but expansion. You are no longer completing each other. You are witnessing each other's unfolding. The mirror becomes clear. And in that clarity, true connection is born. And now, the veil lifts fully. You have journeyed through the thought-born roots of love, through the vibration and reflection of your own essence, and at last you arrive at the altar of sovereignty. Not isolation, but sacred selfhood. The law of mentalism has shown you that all is mind, all begins within. But now, it is time to understand the deeper power hidden within this truth. You are the creator of your relational world, not just a participant, not just a responder, a creator. What does this mean? It means the stories you tell yourself about love are not merely beliefs. They are blueprints. The expectations you carry are not hopes. They are commands sent into the field of the universe. the way you think about your worth, your needs, your right to be seen, that is not just inner dialogue. That is the mold into which your relationships are poured. Spiritual sovereignty is not arrogance. It is not detachment. It is the gentle knowing that no one completes you because you are already whole. And from this wholeness, you create connection, not out of hunger, but out of overflowing. A sovereign being no longer asks, "How can I make them love me?" They ask, "How can I be so fully myself that love becomes inevitable?" They no longer say, "They hurt me, they broke me." They say, "Their actions revealed where I had yet to heal, and I chose to become more whole." This is not bypassing, it is reclaiming. There is immense freedom here. The moment you remember that your inner world projects rather than merely reacts, you hold the wand of creation once again. You realize that if you do not like the shape of your relationships, you can begin to reshape the thought forms beneath them. No more waiting. No more seeking the right person to fix you. No more endless loops of proving pleasing or punishing. Instead, you become the space where love can land. A vibrational match to peace, a conscious participant in every moment of connection. This is where the other Hermetic principles gently circle back. Polarity, you learn to work with contrast, not resist it. The silence teaches you the beauty of presence. The friction teaches you the grace of flow. Rhythm, you stop fearing the highs and lows. You learn to dance with the tides of relating, knowing that all things rise, recede, and rise again. You don't grip, you trust. Cause and effect. You stop blaming random chance. You recognize the chain of thought to emotion, to action, to outcome. And in that recognition, you plant different causes. Gender. You honor the inner masculine and feminine, the giving and receiving, the stillness and the motion. You stop looking for the other to supply what you deny in yourself. And above all, you return to the first law mentalism. All is mind, which means you can choose. You can choose the thought that brings peace, the frequency that uplifts, the belief that liberates, the love that begins inside. Try this each morning before the world asks anything of you. Place your hand on your heart and ask, what reality do I choose to create today in my relationships? Not what you hope for, not what you fear, but what you choose. Then shape your thoughts accordingly. Speak them aloud. Write them down. Let your mind become a vessel for the love you wish to live. Let your imagination become a prayer. You are not waiting for the right partner to appear. You are becoming the frequency that calls them in or transforms the one beside you into someone new, someone truer, someone more in tune with your sacred signal. Even old relationships can be renewed when one person changes their frequency. The field shifts. The mirror reflects a different image. What once was stuck can move again because you moved. This is the quiet miracle. That by transforming your inner world, you shift the dance of connection itself. You need not convince, chase, or explain. Your vibration speaks louder than any plea. You are the alchemist, the architect, the artist. And when you create from love, not from lack, you become a lighthouse. Not desperate for ships to dock, but steady in your glow, inviting only those who recognize the shore you have become. So walk now with this knowing, not to impress, but to embody, not to perform, but to radiate. Let every thought be a temple. Let every word be an offering. Let every connection be a reflection of the sacred inner garden you now tend with devotion. For the one who remembers their power to create from thought becomes untouchable, not by closing off, but by opening so fully that only what matches their truth may enter. This is not magic. This is law. And you, beloved soul, are ready. So now, in the quiet stillness that follows, truth breathe. Let it echo within you. You are not here to chase love. You are here to remember that love begins in you. What you think, you become. What you feel, you attract. What you believe, you build. This is the sacred invitation of the law of mentalism, not a commandment, but a remembrance that you are the mind behind the moment, the dreamer who shapes the dream. And in your relationships, this means you are never powerless. Even when storms come, even when others forget their light, you remain the source, the center, the alchemist. So choose now with clarity. Speak with softness. Think with reverence. Let every relationship, past, present, or yet to come, be a sacred classroom for your becoming. The mirror is not your enemy. It is your guide. And if you've heard something here that stirred you some deep bell that rang with memory, then let it settle into your being. Let it shape how you see, how you speak, how you love. Because you're not just a person. You are a creator. And it's time to create on purpose. If this spoke to your soul, feel free to comment or share. I would love to walk further with you on this journey of awakening. Until then, may your thoughts be kind, your heart be sovereign, and your love radiant.